Fire Race is a high-octane, thrills and spills arcade racer from a top-down perspective for a single player. There's no multiplayer here, it's you against 4 AI trying to get around 30 tracks to win the race. However, that's not your only objective. The real clear, interesting thing here comes from the title Fire Race, because there's constantly fire blaring out the back of your car. And this is because the top speed of your car is directly related to how many continuous drifts you're able to pull off as you go round these really tight SNES-style tracks that are just full of lots of 90 and 45 degree corner bends that require you to drift very succinctly around it to rack up points for yourself, but it also then increases your top speed. The problem, and there's a few problems with this game, is that the speedometer is broken, so you can't actually see tangibly how much this is increasing your top speed. But you can see it visually as just your car's going faster on the screen, but you can also see it in relation to the other AI, because you'll start catching them up, and if they start doing some drifts, then they'll boost ahead as well. So then you're like, okay, I get the idea of this. That lasts until you smash into a barrier or hit one of the many obstacles that are dotted around this track, and this game loves an obstacle. There's a couple of things with this idea though that I found quite a struggle, and it was probably because I'm playing with a controller and with the analog stick. I'm used to games where you press a button and you've got controls, left is left, right is right as you go up the screen, but then it's reversed as you go down because I'm old. But this game has a very new way of doing, or more modern way I guess, of doing retro gaming, and that's where you just point the analog stick where you need to go. The problem with that is that it then becomes really binary as to whether or not you're going to be allowed to drift or not. And I would say 50% of the time when I pressed the drift button, I drifted, and the other 50, nothing happened. And I'm sure it's because I was using the analog stick and it's not able to just kind of go, oh, you flipped the controls 90 degrees, therefore you can drift. Because that's not the fastest way to get around these tracks. You're kind of constantly snaking around 90 degree and 45 degree bends. So it just doesn't lend itself to being that angular in your driving, and it's not the best way to go racing. Once I got and made my peace with the fact that only half the time my drifts would actually work, I think I enjoyed Fire Race a little bit more, but I still ran into a couple of other quirks that I didn't really enjoy either. The other kind of major problem that I have with this game is that whilst there's 30 levels across 3 environments, environments 2 and 3, the desert and the icelands, are so crammed full of on-track obstacles that you need to run into them across your first lap and just constantly slow down, as do the AI, to try and clear a clean path. And that feels like it's gone a little bit too far when the very first lap of every single race, and it's only a 3-lap race every time, and laps can be anywhere from like 10 to 30 seconds. So you're just like slam, 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 slam. And then like laps 2 and 3, you can go racing. That just feels off to me and misbalanced. But I don't know, it might float your boat. And there's definitely a strategic edge in there to probably let the AI go and smash into everything else, and then you quickly blast through at the end to then take the lead. So this game, I think, is very much a swings and roundabouts. If you're going here purely for racing, I think you'll probably be quite disappointed, although the feel of the game is quite fun. I did like the graphical style. It doesn't run into any slowdown or any problems like that, and it does hit that retro arcade car e-racer style quite nicely. However, I think if you just come purely for the racing, you will be disappointed just because of that whole clunkiness of the drift mechanic and the amount of obstacles on the screen at once. I do think, though, that there's a sub-demographic here that will enjoy this game, because not only are you asked to finish in first place, there's loads of purple coins that you need to collect to get an extra bonus star, and every level has a drift score that you can clear to then get a drift star in addition to the 3 stars for winning the race too. And if that floats your boat, there's probably a couple of hours of enjoyment here for you. However, I was able to get through all 30 races, winning all of them well within an hour. So just bear that in mind, that if you're going to pay out the couple of quid for Fire Race, it is a short and sweet experience, and you're going to need to make your own fun out of it afterwards, so long as you don't mind some of the weird issues and bugs that I've already mentioned. Written review over on higherplayinggames.com. Take care. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane-network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.